Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm going to be doing my next bunch of ones from outside because my apartment's kind of trashed right now and I thought this would just be better. Forgive me, it's a little windy out here, but it is beautiful. It's springtime in Kentucky and it's very pretty. I had a recent run-in with the HR in my company and it has restored my faith in that all HRs are just corporate tools. If you've had a good experience with HR, bless you, that's wonderful. I am happy for you. I have not. My first run-in was with CVS ages ago. And, well, I worked for CVS Hardwares, which I think are completely defunct right now. At the time, they had an independent company that they had hired, so there'd be no bias. And the problem was a coworker of mine was having, he was LGBT and management, the assistant manager and the managers were being verbally abusive to him, referring to him in, you know, calling him a queer, faggot and whatever, to his face and laughing about it. I had witnessed this, so I had to speak up. So I called up to corroborate his story, to be like a witness. And they said they'd get back to me. And I waited about a month and I called them back up and I said, what's going on with the case and what's going on? They're like, oh, well, we called management and management says there isn't a problem. But I told you management is the problem. It's the store manager and the assistant manager that is doing the improper things, the improper behavior. Oh, what do you mean, oh, this is what I told you when I called up? I'm sure this is what the person who called up told you. That's, well, we've kind of closed this case because of that, because they told us everything's okay. Well, of course they tell you everything was okay. So that went nowhere. I don't know what happened to it because I didn't stay very long after that, and I moved on. My next instance working with HR was at Home Depot in New York. And she was a young woman that only wanted to help her friends. That's the best way. If she got along with you, she would help you. If she didn't like you for whatever reason, she wasn't going to help you. I was putting in a transfer, and how transfers worked at that time with Home Depot was that HR wouldn't do anything for you. What you had to do was call the store you were interested in moving, see if they had a position open to you, and have HR fax over all your file. You know, very simple. So I called up the HR in I was moving to California at the time. I called up the HR in California and I said, hi, have you got an open position? They said, yes, they did. And I said, cool. They said, here's our fax number, fax over your file. Great. Now I did this about a month out before I moved. So about 2 weeks goes by. Now I'm 2 weeks out from my move. It's in stone. I get California calling me. Hi, this is so-and-so from HR here. I haven't received your paperwork yet. What's going on? Do you want the job or not? What? Okay, I'll find out. So I go into the HR woman. Now I had given her the phone number. And she said, yes, I should be able to get that out in a day or a few days. So this time I'm annoyed, okay? I go into her office. I'm like, hi, how's it going? And she's like, oh, it's fine. I had given you a number to fax my file because of my transfer. And California called me and said that you hadn't filed it yet. She's like, oh, probably, I don't remember. Okay, well here, I'll give it to you again. So I had written it on a piece of paper and I handed her the piece of paper. And then I looked at her blotter and I said, here, I'll write it down here. And I wrote it on her blotter. And then I said, I'll write it over here too. And I wrote it on her calendar. And I looked around her office looking for another place to write it on. I'm like, here, you've gotten a few different places now. Hopefully you shouldn't have a problem finding it and being able to fax this over to them because they're really waiting for it. And she gave me this cold as ice look, and she's just like, all right, I'll get right on it. Still took her 4 days to fax it over. Fast forward, a year after I get to that store in California, I had been long enough there to be able to go to school because you needed to be a resident for a year. So I went into HR to tell them that I was going to be going to part-time because I wanted to go to school. Now recently they had been doing a restructuring thing, and I had heard that they were getting rid of all the HRs out of all the stores, and they were going to meld it all together into just like a district HR person. So I get into the office and I run into first my store manager, and I tell her what's going on, and she's like, that's awesome, I hope everything works out for you. She's all positive. I'm like, thank you. So then I knock on the HR door, and the woman, who was a woman who had been with the company for, I guess, about 20 years, she was sitting on her chair cleaning out her desk. She had been fired. And I said, hi, I just wanted to tell you that, you know, I'm going to be going to school, blah, blah, blah. And she looks at me and she's like, you sure you want to do that? I'm like, what? What do you mean? Am I sure I want to do this? She's like, are you sure you want to do that? Because, you know, Home Depot has no, we don't have to continue to give you hours if you go to part-time. You could get nothing for hours. We don't even have to keep you employed. And I'm like, what? You gotta be kidding me. Are you kidding me? You are fired. This is your last day of work. You are cleaning out your desk, and you think you're in a position to use scare tactics on me. What? I just thought that was I had to do everything to keep from smiling and laughing out loud at her. And I was just like, yeah, I know that. I'm aware that you are under no obligation to give me hours, and that's fine. And, you know, but, you know, I really want to do this. And she's like, well, if you're absolutely sure you want to do this, you know, I will make sure I put it in there. But, you know, as I said, there's absolutely no guarantee you'll get hours. Okay. So anyway, fast forward to the company I'm with now. I've probably said who it was before, but anyway, I called up HR, and basically because there was some shenanigans going on, and I wanted to say that I felt these shenanigans were going on and had to do with my management in my store. The woman immediately starts saying I'm making a big thing out of nothing. No, you've totally misinterpreted all of this. Now, mind you, I've been seeing this stuff go on for 3.5 years. I even have it from a person who's worked with my manager for over 13 years and has seen this manager do these things over and over again. It's vindictive in behavior, and it's also favoritism. Anyway, and gender bias. So she's like, oh, no. You have misinterpreted. You need to talk to your manager. You need to talk to him because you obviously misinterpreted everything that's going on here. I'm like, okay, I'm playing passive because I don't want to start yelling because I know that, or yelling or seeming aggressive, because that always gets everybody worked up into a tizzy. So I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, and really? And I said, well, you know, I'm transferring. I wanted to make sure this, you know, I put in my notice that I'm transferring to another store. I've discussed this with my manager, blah, blah, blah. That's why the behavior was happening, because I was leaving, and this was, like I said, vindictive behavior because I was leaving. And she came back at me and she's like, what? You haven't assured that you have this transfer yet. And I said, well, no, I was advised by senior members of in my store that you have to put in your notice first, then you can, you have to give them a couple weeks notice before you go and try to transfer, because that they won't approve they won't, it looks bad if you just go and get a position at another store and then go, oh, by the way, I'm leaving. It just, you know, it doesn't work. But so she comes back, she's like, oh, no, you should have shored this up months ago. Okay, that doesn't sound right. What store is going to wait months for you to come to their store? I mean, I can understand a month, which is what I did, but 4 or 5 months? I've known about this move for a couple months now. Anyway, and she kind of was insinuating that everything that was going on was kind of my fault. You know, I didn't do my stuff. Why would I do this? You know, you're taking everything out of proportion, blah, 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 blah. You need to do this. And I'm thinking, yeah, I need to talk to my manager. Now he knows that I called HBAR and everything just blows up and it now becomes a hostile situation. And I don't even know if it even is a hostile situation because I haven't, since that day I handed in my notice, seen him. Because he seems to be not there by the time I get in. So, which is the way he does. If he's angry at you, he will not, he cannot control his anger enough to even interact you. It takes him like a week or two to get himself under control. Again, I've seen this before. So I just wanted to tell you my tales of HR. And again, like I said, restored my faith in that many of them are utterly useless. I just want to thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. You got any questions, any comments, leave them down in the thingy there. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your support all this time. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.